Am I just being a dumb expat? Pregnancy and marriage. Okay, short story is that we are both around 30 years old, having dated for a year. She's talking about having a kid, specifically a girl. And I'm not against the idea, but I have no idea about the law and bureaucracy in the Philippines. She's smart, smarter than me. She earns well, says she earns better than me, who earns above a medium European wage. She has enough money to travel to Europe regularly and a job that allows that visa and eat out in Europe without seeming bothered. She's certainly doing well by any Pinoy standard. She could lose her job tomorrow, though, but has been doing it for several years. She already has a son who mostly lives with her dad and the countryside, his granddad. She's really not that present to her son, but certainly doing a lot for the kid economically, and the grandpa is awesome. I think the son's doing well. She's a bit crazy and hormonal at times, but not more than other women I've been with. Tampo is a thing. She definitely wishes for a mixed baby. She says she doesn't need me to be there for the baby. When asked what the expectations are from me, the wanting a girl thing bothers me a little. That's still roughly three red flags on her side. I have my fair share too. What I need is don't risk my saved money. It's a bit douchey, but yeah, I've saved and been mindful my whole life, and I don't want to risk it in a marriage. I've told her that we want to a prenup if we are get married, and she seems okay with that. To add to this, I would like my kid primarily to inherit me, although I would also want the mother of my children to have fair share if I am to pass exceptionally early, or if we end up living a long life together. I'd be perfectly happy with sharing everything I earned while we're together. Just don't want to lose half my shit or more after 2 years or something if the relationship goes sour. What I want is to do my part economically, and as a dad, I've heard numbers like 25,000 pesos described as being plentiful as child support, and that would be no problem. I'd want to be a dad for the kid, be present, and make their life as good as possible. I'd change the diapers, help with the homework, maintain a home, and have their back after that. Some rights with regards of me being with the potential kid. If all goes wrong with me and the mom, is that even possible? Birth certificate? And the kid or the kids to have a dual citizenship, especially mine, Norwegian one. She said it's fine that I go back to my country alone with the kid. I think it's easy to be able to figure out how to get them the papers from there. Assume I would also have to get some paperwork done in the Philippines for all of this. Again assuming the kid born in the Philippines. What do I need to travel with the kid alone? I'd like for this kid to learn the language and English as well, the latter seeming way easier. To not get formally married, it seems like unnecessary paperwork, and I get nothing I really need out of it. After that, I'm aware of many of these situations being a problem for many, including myself. How likely is that she would be happy with just a ceremony? I think this is more of a cultural question, but I might be wrong. To summarize, just dumb expat? Am I him? Are prenups to be trusted? Could I, as a father, have any rights? What do I need to travel with the kid? Just have marriage ceremony, not signing the paperwork. Is that possible? This is this man's question. Let's take this one step at a time. Firstly, if you are this concerned and worried, why bother having a child with someone like this? Also, marriage, if you don't want to get married, which clearly you do not, why even get married? Let her know exactly what you want. If she's not for that life, then you need to split up and break up. Why are you asking these questions when you know the answers deep down yourself? You need to man up, put your foot down, grow some balls, and do what you have to do. Let her know who's the boss. She obviously doesn't need you in her life based on what you told us so far. So, why would she want to keep you around if you're not willing to commit or at least risk something for her? Seems like you are the person that is the dumb expat, but probably for the wrong reasons. Do you understand how many men would love to be in your situation? To have a woman that is attractive, has a full-time job, but then again, she has a baby, right? Do you have kids? Do you want to take on that extra unnecessary burden? There are just simply way too many factors. You must have to ask yourself, are you willing to deal with all of this, put up with it, and like you said, what do you really get in return? Let's dive deep into the comment section. DJ 1980 says, what happens when she's bored of this one, or you have a boy? Hey, granddad, we have another visitor for you. It amazes me how this family-oriented culture seems very pro just dumping your kids on the nearest willing relative. An excellent point. Why is she not involved in her child's life? I don't understand. Is she really going to let the granddad, which I assume is probably the husband, take care of the child? It makes no sense. Why be with someone with such small amount of responsibility towards a child that she brought into this life? No Mix 68 says, yeah, I'm shocked to see young women dumping their kids with family members, then shacking up with some new dude in another town, only to get pregnant again in the Philippines. Of course, the fathers are just as guilty. That is the situation in the Philippines. Single motherhood is a very big thing. Also, children are not a big priority when it comes to responsibility. They simply will pass them along to the nearest person and pay them a few hundred pesos a month, which that person will love to have without having to work. And they raise these children without any correct direction or parental advice in their life, which is the reason why the country is like this. Let's all be honest. Sweden Per says, yeah, I call dumb expat. You don't live abroad. Question. She doesn't take care of her current child, and she doesn't want you involved. Why do you think the child will be well brought up? That's dumb. Wanting a girl is something many Pinay want. Why get married or have a child? You don't live together, it seems. And if you get married here, why have a prenup when you can't have a divorce? You're talking about money this, money that, when in fact you should talk about love and shared life before a child even comes into question. Another well thought out comment. These questions seem ridiculous to me. These two people are going to bring a child into this life without the proper foundation or stability. It makes no sense to me. OK Willingness says, you say she has a kid with a guy already. You sure she isn't married? You could be breaking the law without knowing it. Precisely, as we all know, many Pinoys lie about this because they know you will have zero interest in them, well, some men, if she's already married. David says, why would you want to bring a child into this world with an already absent, selfish mother? 25,000 to support a child is chump change. She might not sound crazy to you, but she sounds crazy, manipulative to me. Yes, she gets to travel, but does she have savings? A lot of Filipinos may seem well off, but they are not. Again, why bring a child into this world on a whim of a woman who can't even raise her first child? Are those the values you want to instill in a girl? If you have one, of course. I'm not calling you dumb, but you're clearly walking into a baby trap. I'm just not sure why you can't see it. I mean, does she do the helicopter in bed or something? Excellent point. Why go through all this? Pitiful Recover says, FYI, if your child is born outside of a marriage in the Philippines, they literally classify them as illegitimate. That may seem trivial in most Western countries, but in the Philippines, it will have major impacts on inheritance, life insurance, passport, visa issuance. My wife and I weren't married when we had our first kid in the U.S., but were married when we had the second one. When we registered the births in the Philippines for dual citizenship, my older daughter got stamped illegitimate and is not recognized by her same last name in the U.S. So that's going to be a hot mess with two separate legal names on passports. Plus, if my wife and I were to fall over dead tomorrow, inheritance law in the Philippines will prioritize my younger daughter over the older one. Also, my older daughter would not be able to inherit some properties from her grandmother and great aunt. Instead, it will fall to the younger daughter or another relative. I can declare my legitimate daughter in the Philippines and so a bunch of paperwork with the lawyer, but it's a bit convoluted nightmare. Also, need to get her birth status corrected before we can create a trust in the Philippines for her. So, in the event you do want to have kids, I recommend getting married for the kid to have less bullshit to deal with down the road. Or if not married, make sure you talk with the lawyer on estate planning so you can position support for the kid should something happen to you. I really appreciate comments like this that are full of knowledge, advice, and tips instead of just talking down to this man who is clearly making a mistake, and we should be talking down to him because we all know this person is making a silly error when everyone else knows the reality. I sometimes wonder what goes through men's head. How much control do these women have over your life that you need to come on a social media group and post these types of questions? I understand sometimes we need someone to talk to, but to ask questions like this that are life changing, I just simply do not understand. What do you think of this man and his concerns and his problems? What do you think he should do? Do you think that he should marry this woman who cannot seem to even take care of one child? Do you think that they should have a daughter and to have her perhaps possibly live with her grandfather? It is time for the best and worst comment from yesterday's video. The best comment comes from JL Marco 1, $9.99 US. Thanks. Much appreciate the support to spread the truth about this country. Slydog2007 also donates $5 US to the channel. Don't be cheap, guys. You can all chip in $1. These videos take time to produce, and he is the only one making content with this kind of awareness. Not to mention, he's constantly demonetized for telling the truth. Yes, thank you, Slydog. Much appreciated. If you are new to this platform, on this channel, it's been a long road, and it's honestly draining at times. But I think that the end goal is definitely worth the hassle. Thank you all for supporting the channel. I appreciate it deeply and greatly. Let's take a look at yesterday's worst comments, if there are any. The worst comment is from Bob Wilson. I get more women checking me out here in the Philippines than I ever did back home in my 20s. I am 71 now. Duh. Do I walk around with the big wallet? No. I think this man is in his later years, so I will not disrespect him. I will not tell you what I think of his comment, but I think we all know. Thanks for watching. God bless.